In this video, I'm going to walk you through writing a script. In order to write, you have to log your footage first, which I've already done. So I've made a shot sheet of B-roll as well as gone through and watched all of the interviews and transcribed the sound bites I think I might use. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on in this video. Couple things here is if you sort of hear this constant sort of fan blowing, that is a heating fan here, where it is cool enough to where the heating fan helps, but it is not too cool to where I would actually turn the heat on. If you also hear some rain, it is raining outside, but hopefully the mic and the windscreen I'm using is you don't hear that. But something you may hear as we're working together here is you may hear some private jets. I live near an airport, so if you hear some of them come during our time together, just know that is the sound of success. All right, so here we go. So I just came back from the field. The first thing I always do in a blank document of some kind, Microsoft Word or Google Docs, is just write whatever is in my head. A lot has happened today, and the schedule of what happened today changed many times. I've got a lot in my head in no particular order. So what I'm thinking right now is I got the art class and also the art teacher, we'll say art professor, and I know that I've got sound, I've got an interview with her, if I could spell. There we go, cool. All right, after that, I know that I have that great 18-year-old RCHS student. He was good. I've got good rally video, got great rally video. I've got all the celebs on stage, so I may be pulling some nap pops from that. Hopefully they're not overmodulated. We will figure that out in real time together. That'll come in the B-roll section of the video. I have the celebs talking with students in a small round panel downstairs. That's in the Richland studio. What else do I have? Ooh, I've got my stand-up, which I may or may not be using. I am happy with it, but for the sake of the pace of the piece, we will certainly see if that stays in or not. Pacing of the piece is important. I want it to continue to keep moving. I don't want it to slow down. Also, too, if I go above a minute 30, I'm going to cut it, because there's no way that you're going to get more than a minute 30 to tell this package. And I say that with confidence because I know what we got today. And we got good stuff, don't get me wrong. We have great stuff, but not enough great stuff or to a caliber of greatness that we're going to get lots of time to do this story. So what I'm going to do now is go into Final Cut Pro here. That's going to load. And then from here, I'm going to take a look at my interview raw. So I'm going to play it all back in real time. Don't worry about all the different stuff that you're seeing here. As I'm listening, I'm going to drop the sound bites that I like, that catch my ear into this timeline. Does not mean they all make it into the piece, it just means they caught my ear and are possibilities. For a minute 30, I'm probably gonna get 4 or 5 sound bites at the most, and that is super tight if I can pull that off. That also means the sound bites will be short. We're talking 5, 8 seconds, maybe. To start this script, we'll start with the anchor intro. Oh, we're used to celebrities entertaining us, but today I'm acting like this is a daily. Alicia Keys, and I'm gonna say America Ferrera and Alicia Keys took a break from their day jobs. Dropping into DFW. You gotta spell it phonetically because you gotta be able to read it in prompter. To empower millennials to vote. They headline, they get out. Oh, they headlined a rally. I mean, if people know people know what it is. Rally at Richland College. That's where find. Actually, where are Andrew Tanelian? Brings us more on their message and their movement. Also, while we're here, we'll knock out the anchor tag. What the anchors are going to say after your package finishes or after your package finishes and you've done your live shot tag. So for here, it's really simple. This story took place on the Richland campus. Richland is also an early voting location, so we definitely want to tell people that voters who are in Dallas County can go to Richland to vote. But of course, you want to take into account that this viewing area, there are many counties in DFW, so you want to remind them that if they want to find where they can go vote or vote early, that they can go to vote.org. So now we're going to start writing the actual package, and as you can see here, I've got the sound bites in the order I think I want them, and also too, as I was thinking it, started to write some partial tracks. For example, I've written Joshua's introduction track, or at least part of what I'm thinking it's going to be. You'll probably do these same things as you are putting in thoughts and organizing them. You will start to write full thoughts or partial thoughts, just to get them out of your head. So now we're going to start writing the package, and in the interest of condensing time, I've cut out some of the smaller parts of the writing for this. This roughly 20-minute video was originally more than 90 minutes because it was all of me writing and also me explaining to you in depth some things that were important but could be other videos. So as you can see here, there are some tidbits that are filled in. There's also some stacking that you didn't see me do. So for example, you can see that there's a Nat sound pop way up at the top that says celebs saying something. I know I'm gonna open the piece with something from the stage, probably America saying something. Then what's going to come next is a track from me, which you will watch me write, explaining to the viewer what's going on and going from there. Then as I see it right now, I may have an additional Nat pop from the rally of a celebrity saying something, who knows. Then I know after that, the track is going to be introducing Joshua, the 18-year-old student, and right now I've got his pronouncer highlighted, and also, too, the idea that I thought at the time he had said that he was from Uganda, or at least that his family was, and in going back to review the tape, I couldn't find that fact and had not reviewed the tape at the time that that specific idea was written. So as you'll see in the final script, I don't say anything like that. I still do think he's from Uganda, because he definitely told me he was not from the US. I just think he told me that off camera, and I'm not including it because I couldn't prove it to somebody if questioned. I also have no email or cell phone for Joshua to actually confirm that information. Then after that, you see his soundbite, then a blank track that I'm going to use to introduce Miriam, the art professor. After that, a blank track, which I'll probably use to explain the rally and lead into what America says. And then you'll watch me go from there. And we're going to say, oh, how do I want to introduce Miriam? I'll say earlier in the day. Not yet. Tables. Our Professor Marion Feld. She just feels the same way. Feels the same way. Originally from Venezuela, which has a completely different political climate. I'm going to switch this around, but you see the thought I'm going with here. You know, a lot of them have been rigged. Yeah. Dictatorships on the abundant, adamant to see people that I live in, my community. Yeah. Feel the same way. Originally from Venezuela and a completely different political climate. Importance. It's more than important. It's interesting. Voting for her. Having the freedom to vote is critical. Bingo. So originally from Venezuela in a completely different political climate. To her, voting is crucial. Does she say crucial in here? Because if she does, I can't say it. Sweet. Boom, boom, boom. Venezuela does have a democracy, but when you get under the hood, it doesn't act like one. So while the image is there, how things actually run in the country are very different than the optics at 50,000 feet or a country away or an ocean away would make them look like. And from this point, I just jump into writing the lead-in to Marion. Should I have started writing the script from the very beginning from those Nat Pops? Yeah. The reason why I'm not is I have to go back and search the rally video for the 2 specific Nat Pops I want up top, and that's going to take a little bit of time. And I know I can bang out this Marion introduction right here, right now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. One more thing to point out here, again for the interest of time, as I was pulling those sound bites when logging into the timeline, I was also fully transcribing them, as well as timing them to see how long they are, and that's that number that you see next to the person's name and their title. That way, as I write this document, write the script, I can keep track of how much of the 90 seconds I've got for this package I'm using. Also, too, when I write a voiceover track, I will use the stopwatch function on my smartphone to time out how long that track is. So those numbers right alongside the word track for my voiceover tracks represent how long that track is. That way I know when I'm done writing, I have a really good estimate of how long this package is. So I know right then, do I need to cut something? And then if I do, I figure out what. Let's continue. We do the stand-up, we go to America, then I'm gonna have a super quick track. I just need, I gotta bring it all home. Bring it all home. Nats of rally. I want the vote chant, because that's pretty quick. Say votes chants. I gotta go track. I'm gonna try and be fancy. We'll see what happens. I like to, if I can, split my out cue up, but we will see if I even have time for that. BC5, and we are in Richardson. We'll know when we edit what that looks like. Cool. I make my track always a different color so I can see it when I go to track. I'm only seeing the text that I need to voice. Now that that's done, I reviewed the rally footage and found the Nat Pop that I really wanted to use. I discovered this Nat Pop from America.
Texas matters!
It's great because it's short and it's meaningful. A great way to lead off this piece. America Ferrera, along with Alicia Keys and Liza Koshy. Reminding students that the Lone Star State is one of the most diverse in the country, underscoring why it's important that both millennial and minority voices be heard. Oh. Both millennials and minorities vote. But I could say be heard. Voices be heard is really overused in politics. Doesn't mean I don't use it sometimes. It's just if I can find a different way, I try to do that. Plus, I've got to get to the point super quick. I want to know how long this particular thing is. All right. That's America Ferrera, along with Alicia Keys and Liza Koshy, reminding students that the Lone Star State is one of the most diverse in the country, underscoring why they say it's important that both millennials and minorities vote. I have to attribute the statement to them because I, as a journalist, can't say it's important for millennials and minorities to vote. I'm showing why they say it's important for them to vote. That's 17 seconds. Texas Matters is 01. Alright, this is where it gets really weird all of a sudden. So now 17 becomes 28. That becomes 35. We've got to add 17. That becomes 88. That becomes 95. We're already over, but we're going to continue writing, and then we're going to cut to see where we're going to cut from. What you all decide to do here in Texas. What you all decide to do here in Texas for the next 13 days. So good. And they're screaming. Yeah, we're cutting that stand-up out. That's absolutely happening. Because I need that 22 back to play with. There's more important stuff than seeing me on camera. Way more important stuff. Yeah, we're killing this. I need that time back, and I need it back a lot. Real bad, real bad. So we're going to say after the rally. Celebrities yeah, it's good because we just gotta get in and out. At this point, I took a minute to review the press release to see if there were any interesting facts that I could weave into what I've already written, and found one from Voto Latino. This Lone Star State is one of the most diverse in the country. Second largest, in fact. Latinos of voting age. Yeah, this is going to make it longer, but I have a fact in there now. It's actually interesting. She, along with Vote Latino, is it votelatino.org? What did this say? She, along with the organization Vote Latino, are trying to change with rallies across country for... Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so simple. I do have to bring Vote Latino in because it's like, well, how'd they get there? Is it a Voto? Hang on. It is Voto. Whoa, I got to get that right. Voto Latino. I'm writing it like this so I know to hit it. There's no dash in their name, but I need to say, I got to hit Voto. In fact, I'm going to bold that. I need to make sure to get that right. So now I'm at the point to where I know I need a good nap pop to end on. And I knew that there was some chanting. It took me a couple of minutes to find that in all of this raw. But when I found it, it was really good. Once that's in there, I've now got a full script. Something I do want to point out here is 2 huge cuts had to be made. The first one, as you know, is the stand-up. The second one is I had to cut the art professor Marion out, as well as the track to introduce her, because if I'm cutting her out, I've got to cut out her track as well. There was just too much time taken up by the original script that I wrote. It was well over 90 seconds. It was well over 2 minutes, I think. And again, in terms of the text that I wrote there, I just copy and paste that text into a separate document so that that work isn't lost. Even if I don't use an element in a script or in my timeline, I always back it up in a duplicate document or a duplicate sequence, as I'm about to show you here, and I'm never losing the effort I put in. It's always available somewhere else. Also, too, because I was dragging the sound bites down to the timeline as I was working, and also deleting the ones I didn't want. Well, really what I did is I copied and pasted them to a separate timeline that I label as interviews or sometimes as scraps. That's so that if I ever decide that I need them for a VOSOT or maybe a second version of the package for the morning show, that the work I put in gathering the SOT into the timeline isn't thrown away by me just simply deleting it. If I needed that SOT, I have to go back into my RAW and search for it again. Why duplicate the time? Instead, all I gotta do is make a new sequence and sort of use it as the kitchen sink or a kitchen countertop, if you will, to place all the stuff I'm not going to use. So when you look at the package timeline, you've got all the elements you are going to use in the order they've come in your script. So all I've got to do now is A-roll and then B-roll.